you had mentioned, David, about the three-leaf clover, and kind of the symbolism with Patrick. And it's funny because we have to mention Lutheran Satire. You got to watch Lutheran Satire on Bad Analogies with St. Patrick, and it's really funny. I don't know if St. Patrick is actually known for those bad analogies, or if Hans Feeney just put them in there just because they're fun to put in there. The different things that he pulls out is like, because there are so many illustrations of the Trinity that are wrong. Just
like all of them?
Like all of them, yeah. Like all of them. And he draws out modalism and Arianism and classic Trinitarian analogy with the clover leaf, which is partialism. And you guys can look this up, but modalism is that God reveals himself in three distinct forms, but not persons, often with the illustration of ice, water, and vapor. So if you've ever used that, stop it.
Don't.
Arianism talks about Christ and the Holy Spirit as creations of the Father and not one in nature with him. And often the illustration is this, that there's like, you think about the sun as a star and that it gives off heat and light. But then that talks about that like Christ and the Holy Spirit are products or creations of the Father, which is not biblical either. So if that's how you are describing the Trinity,
don't.
Stop it. And then classical Trinitarianism through partialism of the clover leaf. Again, I don't know if this is actually attributed to Patrick himself or not, or if this is grown out just like some of the lore around him has. But it's a heresy that professes that the triune persons are not distinct persons of the Godhead, but are different parts of God. So each person composing 1/3 of the divine. And this is one where it's like, I think the illustration is often like the skin of the apple, the core of the apple, and the seeds of the apple. So like, and you're like, oh, what's wrong with that? It's like, well, you're talking about the whole apple as God. Okay. But then you are just attributing certain parts of God within that apple. We talk about God being three distinct persons in one Godhead. And this is a mystery. We confess this actually out of the Athanasian Creed. And so, every Trinity Sunday in the Lutheran Church, we tend to confess the Athanasian Creed. It's long, it's wordy.
We should use it more, though.
We probably should. But in Patrick's confession, there's actually this part that is subtitled as Irish Creed of the Trinity. And a quick glance on it looks like it's pretty good. It actually looks pretty close or similar to the Athanasian Creed. And I want to read it. Because there is no other God, nor ever was, nor will be, than God, the Father, unbegotten, without beginning, from whom is all beginning, the Lord of the universe, as we have been taught, and his Son, Jesus Christ, whom we declared have always been with the Father, spiritually and ineffably, begotten by the Father before the beginning of the world, before all beginning. And by him are made all things visible and invisible. He was made man, and having defeated death, and was received into heaven by the Father, and he was given him all power over all names in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue shall confess him that Jesus Christ is Lord and God, in whom we believe, and whose advent we expect soon to be judge of living and of the dead, who will render to every man according to his deeds. And he has poured forth upon us abundantly the Holy Spirit, the gift and pledge of immortality, who makes those who believe and obey sons of God and joint heirs with Christ, and him do we confess and adore, one God in Trinity of the holy name. So pretty good, I would say there. Just a quick read through there. Read it for yourself in the Confession of St. Patrick. Interesting saint, missionary, and his work is more than leprechauns and rainbows and pots of gold and
they're always after me Lucky Charms.